Hey y'all, welcome back to the Free Black Women's Library YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you for liking this video and thank you for subscribing to my channel. What's up, y'all? My name is Ola. I'm an artist, cultural worker, and the creator and director of a social art project called the Free Black Women's Library. Whoop, whoop. And on this channel, I talk about movies, TV shows, and books that I'm just excited about and to just want to talk about, child. And today I'm talking about a film that came out this year, 2025. It is called Love, Brooklyn. Yeah, Love, Brooklyn. You know I love Brooklyn. You know I'm from Brooklyn. You know I rep for Brooklyn way too hard. So when I saw this title, it immediately caught my attention. Love, Brooklyn. So Love, Brooklyn first aired at Sundance of this year, 2025. That's where it made its debut, public debut. And I watched it on a service that shall not be named, but y'all know which one. It's currently on there. And I've been wanting to check it out. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch it in theaters. So I didn't mind paying for it because support Black film. Did I mention this is a Black film? Yes, this is a Black film. This film stars Andre Holland as Roger. Andre Holland is in one of my favorite films of all time, Moonlight. And it also stars Nicole Beharie, one of my favorite actresses. Nicole Beharie, I first watched in Sleepy Hollow. And ever since then, I've been in love. She's also in a beautiful film called, excuse me, Miss Juneteenth, which I want to talk about on this channel at some point. Coming of age story where she plays the mom. And yeah, she's just a great actress. And DeWanda Wise, who starred in the She's Gotta Have It HBO series based on the film of the same name, first film of Spike Lee fame. Y'all see, it's like a whole world of juicy Black cinema out there that we could just dive into again and again and again. It exists, and there's always more good stuff coming, always good stuff being made. And I want to talk about more films on this channel. But anywho, let's talk about Love, Brooklyn. So Love, Brooklyn has three main characters played by these three fine ass Black actors and actresses. Andre Holland plays Roger. Nicole Beharie plays Casey, and DeWanda Wise plays Nicole. Roger, Casey, Nicole. The premise: three Brooklynites navigate loss, career, and friendship. This is the premise. It looks like it takes place early 2000s Brooklyn. It looks contemporary, but not exactly in this moment of 2025. And it's directed by Rachel Holder. Now, Roger is having relations with Nicole. Roger and Nicole are in a friends with benefits situationship, maybe leading into a relationship thing. Roger and Nicole. Okay. Nicole is a single mom. Nicole is a widow. Nicole mainly hooks up with Roger at night when her baby girl is asleep, but baby girl does know Roger. She's about 6, 7, 8 is my guess. So there's that relationship that Roger and Nicole are in. Roger is also in a relationship with Casey. I hope this isn't confusing. Oh, by the way, this video will contain spoilers. Roger and Casey are friends, but they used to date. Roger and Casey were a couple. They broke up, but they stayed friends. So there's this can men and women be friends thing. And then there's also there's this can exes be friends thing. I say yes to the first, no to the second. especially if the sexual chemistry is still there, which it is with these two. So Roger and Casey hang out on a regular basis. They drink together, they chat together, they support each other as friends. And then Roger goes to Nicole's house late at night to hook up, have a little sex, get up in the morning, and be gone. Nicole doesn't want to take the relationship she has with Roger too seriously because she's still grieving, and she also has a daughter that she has to consider. When you're a single parent, I say this all the time, when you're a single parent and it comes to dating, you have to be a lot more strategic because you're exposing your kids to other people. You're expending energy that could go towards your kids or to yourself, to this other person. Are they worth it? So Nicole is towing that line, trying to figure out what's going on, what she wants to do, how she wants to deal with Roger. Roger acts like he wants more from her than just a situationship. He wants to date. He wants her to meet his friends. He wants to take their relationship to the next level. She wants to make it public. Nicole's not sure if she's ready for that, right? And then we have Casey, who still has an attraction towards Roger. It's pretty obvious, and she is also dealing with her own stuff. Casey kind of gives me manic pixie dream girl vibes. She runs an art gallery. She's struggling a little bit, trying to deal with gentrification. Apparently, her mom left her the building where the gallery is, and the gentrifiers want to buy her building, and she's holding on to it for dear life. She's not selling any artwork. She's stressed about money, and her relationship with Roger ended because of her. Because of her, she's a little bit chaotic. She's a little bit frantic. A little bit, a little bit a lot. So he still spends time with her. He still gets to feed off of her joy and her quirkiness and her laughter and her beauty, but not give anything in return except a few glasses of wine. Y'all know whose side I'm on. Of course, I'm on Casey's side and Nicole's side as well. Excuse me. Either way, so we get to this point where Roger has a friend who's played by Roy Wood Jr., and he's the comic relief. And there's this side story about him and how he's been married for a long time, but sometimes he thinks about cheating just because he wants something different, a little something new. And apparently his wife is aware of his wandering eye, but she's unbothered because she feels like he's a scaredy cat and he would never. And she's right. She's right. So they're having a party, and Roger they all know Casey as well. But Roger invites Nicole to the party. It's a little kid's birthday party. Nicole has a daughter, and Nicole says yes. So this is a big deal because now his friends get to meet this woman that he's been seeing, that no one has ever met, that he only sees at night. So that's exciting. But it turns out Casey was also invited to this party. So, oh no, the ex-girlfriend is going to meet the new girlfriend. Uh-oh. But turns out Casey doesn't show up for the party because she wanted to sell an art piece. She was excited about this art piece. The sale did not go through. So now she's kind of going through it financially. She's stressed. And as a result, she decides not to go to the party. She stays home and she kind of cries over that spilled milk. And then, unfortunately, she reaches out to Roger for support, asking if they could get together, if they could meet up and talk. And Roger's like, no, I have plans with Nicole's daughter. Nicole's daughter wants to spend time with me. So I'm taking her to the park. We're gonna get ice cream. So Casey's like, damn, you could see Nicole Beharie is such a wonderful actress. You could see by the look on her face that she's going through this thing of like, damn, this dude is choosing this girl's child, this woman that he's seeing's child over me, right? There's that thread is fraying, that connection that they have is starting to fray, and this is part of it, which is why don't be friends with your exes if you have feelings for them, because when they start dating other people, you're going to be heartbroken. So Roger's at the park with Nicole's daughter. They're hanging out. And bloop, here goes Casey. Casey appears out of nowhere. She's just like, oh, hey, that's the little girl that you said you were hanging out with today. Yeah, she wanted to see him in daddy mode. She wanted to be nosy. She wants to get information about this woman that Roger has been seeing, because he's not really telling her that much. And she knew he was dating someone, but he never really mentioned it. Now it's like, oh, he's all in. So Nicole's daughter sees him talking to this other woman, and you could tell that she's kind of like, who is this person? She can see the energy between them. Even though she's a child, something's going on. And then this woman says, oh, do you and your dad want blah 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 blah? And she says, that's not my dad. My dad's in heaven. Yeah. So, bit of a moment. We get back to Nicole's place. She's a massage therapist, by the way, with a beautiful apartment, brownstone place. So her clients must be rich, okay? Because this place is laid. And they're all having dinner, and she's in a bad mood. The daughter is in a bad mood. And Nicole's like, what's going on? And she ends up going under the table. And Roger tells her what happened in the park. He tells her, Casey showed up. And not only that, but this woman referred to me as her daddy. And she told her, that the woman, that daddy's in heaven. Oh, yeah. So, so Nicole's upset, because her daughter's upset, because that's how moms are. So she takes the baby and she tells Roger, you should probably head out. We need to, let's take a little space. So Roger leaves, and him and Casey end up meeting up, and they have drinks, and they're drinking and they're smoking and they're drinking and smoking and they're talking smack to each other. And then at one point they end up leaving, and as they're walking, their lips bump into each other and they start kissing. And Casey's like, no, you don't know what you want. Your problem is you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. And I'm like, Casey, it doesn't matter what he wants. What do you want, girl? What do you want? Right? So Casey ends up leaving. She gets in a cab. This is a magical type of Brooklyn where cabs just happen to appear. Or maybe it's an Uber. Maybe it's an Uber. Either way, Casey gets in the car and leaves, and she says, don't look back, don't look back, don't look back. And she does not. So Roger takes his drunk behind over to Nicole's. I did not like that part. He's ringing her brownstone bell, ringing it, ringing it, ringing it, ringing it, ringing it, ringing it. And Nicole comes down and she's like, you're drunk. And he says, you know, so he's trying to get some booty. And she's like, you trying to get some booty from me right now? You just like showed up at my place like this. Damn. So she steps out on the stoop and she starts looking up at the sky, and it's really quiet. And DeWanda Wise, she ate this scene. She starts crying and she says that she misses her husband so much. She misses her husband so much. She starts crying. Like, she talks about the pain of him not being there with her, the loss, the mourning. Mind you, she's doing this with her current lover, so it's a little awkward, but grief is, you never know when grief is gonna pop up on you, right? And so she's like, yeah, but I'm a woman and I have needs, and sometimes that's all that it is. So come on, let's go. Let's go get to it. Come up and drop your drawers and give it to me. That's what you came here for, right? And Roger looks at her with this kind of shocked look, like, damn. And he's not, his whatever he was trying to get with, the whatever mood was bubbling within him is gone. And she goes, oh, no. Okay. And closes the door and goes inside her house. And Roger goes home. So what I didn't say is that, Nicole is a masseuse, Casey's an art gallerist, and Roger is a journalist. He's supposed to be writing this article about Brooklyn. And so we see his editor once and we hear her voice once. And apparently he's supposed to be writing this piece about the new, vibrant, fun Brooklyn. But when he first pitched the piece, that was the vibe, but he no longer has that vibe. Now he's kind of like, Brooklyn is being ruined, Brooklyn is being destroyed. I don't have that same sense of hopefulness that I had when I first pitched this piece. So my attitude about it has changed. Is it possible to change the tone? And the editor says no. So that's the other thing Roger is working on, in between, bouncing between these two fine women. He's working on this piece and working on getting it together. So he finally finishes the piece. And every once in a while we see him biking through Brooklyn. So we do get some shots of Brooklyn. And like I said, this is a spoiler video. Him and Casey end up deciding to take a break apart from each other, mainly due to his behalf. He says, that his relationship with her needs to end. Casey decides to sell her building that was passed down to her to the gentrifiers. And Nicole is at the park with her daughter. Roger is running, and he sees them and he goes over them. And we don't know how much time has passed, but definitely some time has passed. He goes over and talks to them, and he's like, hey, and they're like, hey, and the daughter is no longer being shady towards him. That's how we know time has passed. She's over the daddy comment. And they're like, oh, we're going to get ice cream. And the little girl says, can Roger come? And Roger's like, yeah. So all three of them walk off holding hand in hand. Nicole's holding one hand, Roger's holding the other, walking off into the sunset. And that's how the film ends. Now, this was good for multiple reasons. Highlights for me: gorgeous cast, acted really, really well, really interesting characters, character studies, the single mom who's a widower, the art gallerist, the writer, very rich, ripe, fertile soil for character studies. Enjoyed that. Wonderfully acted by all three. Lovely aesthetics, great soundtrack, not traumatic at all. Always good to see a Black film that's non-traumatic. Always a good feeling. Very slow, very tender, very warm, very quiet movie. Very quiet, easy, like Sunday morning vibrations, right? Biking through, black man and woman sitting on the couch, exchanging glances, flirting with each other. Very subtle gesturing happening between. No kind of there's none of that. It's just smooth like molasses. A few lowlights for me. Not enough Brooklyn. Not enough Brooklyn. Where was Peaches? Where was Bam? Where was the Brooklyn Museum? We did see a park. I couldn't tell if it was Fort Greene Park or Prospect Park. Where was Junior's? Where was the Atlantic Mall or Barclays? Or that's newer stuff. We could go more old school. We could talk about restoration. We could talk about Mokata. We could talk about a block party. Some double dutching, some people sitting on stoops, elders sitting on stoops, people walking their dogs, just a little bit more of that kind of Brooklyn feel, that Black Brooklyn feel. You know how it felt to watch Crooklyn or what's the other one by Spike Lee? With a little girl. Oh my God, I'm blocking. But definitely Crooklyn, right? That type of thing. Do the right thing. Yes. That kind of vibe, even with the most Brooklyn thing to me about it was like the brownstones. We did see a lot of brownstones. We did see a lot of beautiful tree-lined streets. But and it was fun to see places that I know that I walked through. There were scenes that were shot right like 1 block away from where I live. So that was really fun. But just that texture, that Brooklyn texture was missing for me. So that, especially for a film named Love Brooklyn, and more bodegas, just Caribbean vibes, getting a beef patty or some roti or some doubles and so on like that. There was a scene that took place in a space that I think was supposed to be the Brooklyn Museum, but the characters were drinking wine, and that kind of took me out the story because you're not supposed to drink wine near the art, as far as I know. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. I just got nervous seeing them with like wine next to these paintings. I like that the characters were very 420 because that is kind of Brooklynish. There was a coffee shop that we saw, but yeah, so a bit more Brooklyn for me. Similar to how in Sex and the City, New York City is kind of like a fifth character. I was thinking that Brooklyn would be another character in this piece, and I needed a little more. I needed a little more. And the other thing, and this is probably a very subjective opinion, you let me know what you think, but it ending on this note of Roger and Nicole coming back together, I don't know how I felt about that. That that wasn't satisfying to me because I don't like how he showed up to her house drunk, ringing her bell like a maniac, especially after kissing Casey. That was messy. That was very, very messy. So there's an implication that maybe they're going to be coming back together as a couple and as a family. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. But still, maybe it's because I've been single for a really long time. So my boundaries are just sharp edges. But for me, that would have been a no. I'm also a person who doesn't like pop-ins. I'm not a fan of pop-ins in general. Please don't just show up to my house without me knowing that you're coming, especially not at 1 a.m, especially not drunk, especially thinking you're gonna get some booty. Unless, yeah, no, just don't do that. So that's me. So that part bothered me. And I also felt sad that Casey chose to sell her building to the colonizers, I mean gentrifiers. I felt sad that Casey made that choice to sell the building that she was in, understanding that an art gallery is a very tough to maintain. Selling art is not for the weak. So I get that she was struggling financially, but I wish that she had maybe decided to pivot to opening a different type of business, like a flower shop or a bookstore. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that Nicole and Casey never met. And I thought that was very smart. I like that they never met. And the premise, when I first read the premise as it's described online, three Brooklynites navigate loss, career, and friendship. I felt like it was character coded because Nicole is navigating loss, Roger is navigating career, and Casey is navigating this friendship that she has with Roger. So let me know what y'all think. Did you see Love Brooklyn? What did you think about it? If you didn't see it and you're not a person who doesn't care about spoilers and you watch this whole video, go and check it out and let me know what you think. I actually thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't do star ratings, but I would recommend it to others because I thought it was a good movie and I enjoyed it. And it's one of those films that I'll probably watch again and randomly have playing in the background at certain points just because I find it comforting to hear voices in the background sometimes, which is why I listen to podcasts and audiobooks and other YouTubers. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Ciao.